In the ancient land of Israel, the Israelites were at war with the Philistines. The two armies faced each other across a valley, each waiting for the other to make the first move. Among the Philistines was a giant named Goliath, a warrior of immense size and strength. Every day, Goliath would step forward and challenge the Israelites to send out a champion to fight him in single combat. But the Israelites were terrified. No one dared to face the giant. One day, a young shepherd named David visited the Israelite camp to bring food to his brothers, who were soldiers. David was the youngest of 8 sons, and while his brothers were seasoned warriors, David spent his days tending sheep in the fields. Despite his youth, David was known for his courage and his deep faith in God. He had faced danger before, protecting his flock from lions and bears with nothing but his sling and his wits. When David heard Goliath's challenge and saw the fear in the eyes of the Israelite soldiers, he was filled with determination. He volunteered to fight Goliath. Despite his youth and inexperience, his brothers scoffed at him, and King Saul, the leader of the Israelites, was hesitant but eventually agreed to let David fight. He offered David his own armor, but David found it too heavy and cumbersome. Instead, David chose to face Goliath with only his shepherd's staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones he picked from a stream. As David approached Goliath, the giant laughed and mocked him. Goliath was a fearsome sight to behold. Standing over 9 feet tall, he towered above all others. His massive frame was covered in bronze armor that gleamed in the sun. He wore a bronze helmet on his head, and his chest was protected by a coat of scale armor that weighed over 125 pounds. His legs were guarded by bronze greaves, and he carried a javelin slung over his back. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's rod, and its iron point weighed 15 pounds. Goliath's shield-bearer walked ahead of him, carrying a large shield to protect him from any attacks. But David was undeterred. He had a quiet confidence, born from his trust in God and his own abilities. He placed a stone in his sling, swung it around, and let it fly. The stone struck Goliath squarely in the forehead, and the giant fell to the ground, dead. The Philistines were stunned by the defeat of their champion, and they fled in panic. The Israelites, inspired by David's bravery, pursued them and won a great victory. David's triumph over Goliath became a symbol of courage and faith, showing that even the smallest and seemingly weakest among us can overcome great challenges with determination and belief. David's character was marked by his humility, his unwavering faith, and his bravery. He did not seek glory for himself, but acted out of a sense of duty and trust in a higher power. His story reminds us that true strength comes from within, and that faith and courage can help us overcome even the most daunting obstacles.